To begin with, I was rather young when I had my first baby. I was 18 years old, and it was in 1991. That was before the days of internet. Um, I had a book that my mother-in-law gave me that told me what to expect when I was pregnant. Told me what to expect and how to take care of a baby once a baby was born. Did not tell me what to do if I had a baby born 2 months early, which happened. So I'm a young mother, very young mother, with a premature baby and trying to figure out what I need to do. Is my baby, you have the fears, is your baby actually going to live through this? What's going to happen? I had already lost my first pregnancy. It was a pregnancy the baby didn't form, um, 6 weeks along. So I still don't think I was completely over that because I got pregnant again really relatively soon, and of course had him early. So he was in and out of the hospital a lot. There was a lot of, I guess, not focusing on me at all. I was trying to focus on him and make sure he was healthy, taken care of, and everything else. And then you just realize something just isn't right.
Mhm.
You feel this feeling that just something's not right, and but yet you really don't know what you should do because there's not a whole lot of information out there anywhere. You can't look it up online because of the year that didn't exist yet. So um, I finally got brave enough to go talk to my doctor about it, but it was a couple of years in. It really was. It was a couple of years in before I realized, hey, something's just not quite right. Oh, my biggest obstacle was, I think, well, there was definitely more than one, but I think one of the biggest obstacles was I was not able to really handle the medications that I was put on. It was either I was too tired, and so I couldn't really function correctly, so then I couldn't take care of, couldn't take care of Jacob, couldn't do what I needed to do. More than anything, I think there was this little thing in the back of my mind that kept telling me that there was something that I did wrong, and that's why Jacob was born early, and that's why Jacob was going through what he went through. And so that led to a lot of the depression that I was experiencing, and it was just having to try to say, no, that's not correct, and don't be telling yourself this. It literally took me going through genetic testing when he was about 3 years old to get past that. And then it was a little bit easier for me to deal with that. Um, there was a lot of living and learning going on. Don't wait on talking to somebody because I know I waited probably longer than what I should have because I really didn't understand what I was going through. Talk to somebody, confide in somebody. If it's not a doctor, at least your best friend. Talk to them. And then if you're not satisfied with talking to that person, talk to somebody else. You're not, most of the time you're not alone. Most, a lot of women go through a lot of hormonal changes, and so they don't realize that other people have had that same thing happen to them. So don't put it off. Don't be afraid to go and talk to your doctor even about it. You know. I want to say Jacob was probably about 2, and I think one reason why maybe it took so long because he had a hard time. His lungs were underdeveloped, and so he had a hard time. He was going through a bunch of bronchitis and pneumonia, and in and out of the hospital. And then I was sick a lot too, and so there was just a lot of that going back and forth. And when you're living life in the fast lane like that, sometimes you don't realize that you're having that issue until you slow down for a second. And I think that's the moment that I realize, hey, something's really not right. So maybe I should go see about this. And I didn't really. And the thing about it is, I just kind of talked a little bit to my doctor, and really didn't talk to him. And that's maybe something I really didn't do. I really didn't talk to somebody for years. Oh boy, it was years. It was like after all of my kids were already born, and I had gotten separated from my ex-husband, that I actually talked to somebody and worked through some of the stuff that was pent up inside of me for so long. It was a long time. Well, as anything, you don't want to be stuck in a moment that doesn't feel good. It obviously doesn't feel good. It's not doing you any good. It's not doing anybody else any good. And there just comes a moment in time where you just know you've got to get past it. And I was to that moment, and I guess, we say you live and learn, and that's part of it too. In life, if we don't have certain experiences, we'll never learn anything. So I think some of it was I needed to learn certain things to become stronger as a person. That's kind of where I've come to the conclusion that, we all have problems and stress that affects us every day in general, and we have to look at it the way it affects us. We have to come to the conclusion that, hey, I just need to breathe right now in this moment. I just need to breathe. I can't solve all of the world's problems at one moment in time. So I've come up with these sayings, just breathe. Can't solve all the world's problems at one time. You try to figure out what you can solve on any given day, and just try not to let the rest of it just overwhelm and overtake you, and to where you can't get to a place that's good. You have to be able to have this place that's good. And then also, when things are overwhelming, which can be, especially when you have a lot of little kids at one time, like I know I did, the oldest one disabled, and then 3 other ones that were live wires, that you just have to take whatever just happened this last second, and you have to forget about it and just take it 1 second at a time. And you gotta let it roll off of you, and you can't just hold on to it. If you hold on to it, then it's just overwhelming. So my biggest downfall, I guess I just did not feel like I was adequate as a mother at all. I saw other women that I felt like could do all these different things, like they were superwoman or something, and I was not even near that caliber, and so I always thought something was kind of wrong with me. Um, and I don't really think that it was. I think people were looking at me like, how do I do everything that I do, and I wasn't even seeing that was not anything that I saw at all. That I did have a baby at such a young age that had a lot of problems. He was born early. He had a lot of problems. I was in denial with his problems until he was probably 3 years old. I didn't realize that he had cerebral palsy until I had taken him to a different doctor, and the doctor said there was something wrong with him. And I didn't want to believe that doctor because there's nothing wrong with my baby. And yeah, there was. There was problems with him. So I was in denial a long time. It probably didn't help that I was getting abused by my spouse at the time. That probably helped trigger some of it too. I don't know if there was one thing I could just pinpoint and say, hey, that's it, other than, I don't know. I obviously thought I was grown up enough to have a baby at 18, and I don't know, I might not have been. looking back on it now, I might not have been. Probably wasn't. I wasn't mature. It wasn't as mature as I thought that I was, especially to be able to handle that kind of stress. I mean, that was tremendous. I looking back, I don't know how I did it. I really don't. Oh, well, yes and no. You can always say, well, if he would have just taken a step of courage and maybe not stayed with a particular individual as long as what you did, then that might have been all the difference in your life. But then you might not have had as many children as you had. So, and I don't know about trying to fix the past. Um, there's a certain element in not fixing the brokenness that makes you who you are, that allows you to become stronger and step up above what you're going through if you allow yourself to do it. A lot of it is we just have to allow ourselves to do it too. It's real easy to stay down in a hole. It's real easy to do that, you know? And we have to have the courage to do the stuff that's not so easy. Yes, I do think that it's very important, and I think there is strength if we come together. You know, we all want to think that, oh, we just do it on our own, we do it on our own, and be stubborn like that, and not put yourself out there. There's a certain element that, you know, like with me, I was very private. I didn't want to put myself out there. But now as I'm getting older, I realize that, hey, we have shared experiences, and if you don't put yourself out there, people aren't going to look at you like you're real, so then you're in that boat too. And, you know, if you're closed off, you're not going to make the friends that you need to make anyway. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm learning as I get older. So, yes, we do need to talk about it. It's important. Yeah, I think it should be something that is talked about during the time of pregnancy, and even maybe given to women that are looking to get pregnant. They need to know that there is a risk that this is going to happen, and should it happen, these are the warning signs, and please go get help because it's not a good feeling to feel like you're suffocating, and that I mean, you look at your baby and you're like, you love your baby, but then there's these feelings that can come up and you don't know why you're having them. You know, you just want to love your baby, but at the same time, there's this little element in there that's back behind there that, oh, well, maybe I could hurt my baby, and it's not what you want to feel. And it's something you don't want to feel. Not that you would act upon that, but there's feelings there, and you don't understand that that's a normal feeling that you're feeling when you have postpartum depression. And nobody, nobody has talked to you about it. That's obviously something that's going to be very, very awkward, and you're not really going to want to share with anybody. So yes, please, let's tell people ahead of time. That's way ahead of time. My biggest indicator. I would say that oh, it was so long ago. It's hard for me to even fathom what the biggest indicator was. I think there was just overwhelming feelings that I just knew wasn't right. That I had to figure out why it wasn't right. I didn't know obviously what to call it because I didn't know anything about postpartum depression. So I just knew that there was these feelings in me that obviously that wasn't normal. So I needed to see what was going on and what I could do to get past it. Um, my delivery with Jacob was, I would say it was traumatic in a way because here I was 18 years old and I'm giving birth to him 2 months early, and I obviously did not want to be given birth to him 2 months early. So there was trauma in that aspect. As far as the delivery went okay. It's just I was not mentally prepared at all. So that's where I think the trauma set in. That there was no, I was cleaning out the closet, and the next thing I know, I'm in the hospital giving birth. I mean, it's just wasn't. There was no mental preparation for it, and I'm the type of person that I have to mentally prepare myself for everything. So there was trauma in that aspect with that particular pregnancy. Now there was other ones that contributed to. I guess I think I had gotten kind of over it with Jacob, and then I would get it again with each birth at different rates. Does that make sense? Different rates, different degrees. So there was that, and other births were a little bit more traumatic than what Jacob was. So physically, anyway. My scariest moment. I guess just feeling like I was all alone, and I guess just kind of like I was in a box all alone. Like I didn't feel like anybody would really understand what I was going through. Oh, yeah, I would say so. I always felt like I always felt like I was less than what I needed to be in general, and I always felt like I was always mad and angry, and that I was hateful. And I might not have been that way, but I felt like I was. And I look back on it, I'm like, I don't. I know I was. I was mad, angry, and hateful all the time. That's how I was. That's what I did. And now that my kids are all grown up and their friends are all grown up, their friends will come up and talk to me, and they'll just tell me how I was the best mom in the world, and they didn't have a mom like me, and they wish they would have had a mom like me. And I'm like, well, maybe I wasn't as mean and hateful as I thought I was. So I mean, yeah, I feel there's definitely mom guilt there, because I think we tend to look around and we see other people, and especially like if you're on social media, you see other people, and it seems like they've got it all together and they got this perfect thing going on. But they're all just going through the same thing that we're going through, and you don't realize it. They're masking it. So, well, oh, my plan was to try to do it without medication because with the medication I was not getting anywhere. It was not helping. So I had to walk my own self through it more than anything. And when I think my most helpful time with the whole thing was probably Aaron was already, my youngest was already 4 years old when I left his dad. And just getting out of the abusive relationship was really helpful. And I was able to plant my feet on firmer ground. And going through the counseling that I went through, that helped a lot too. So that helped me realize that, hey, there wasn't just, there wasn't something wrong with me. It was just the emotions that I went through, and still needed to, I guess, when your hormones can adjust, but doesn't mean you're mentally gonna adjust just yet. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
There's that going you have to go through too. So and you feel like you're on a seesaw for a little bit, but just figuring out. I guess gotta take it 1 second at a time, 1 second at a time, and try to live my life by that. And it sure made it a whole lot better. Oh, a distraction that helped me cope. Well, I think my distraction that helped me cope was the fantasy world that I lived in. I had like a fantasy world, like my own little soap opera world that I would go to and get away from reality for a while. So I think that helped a lot. I mean, that kind of sounds crazy, but I can be a big daydreamer when I need to. And so I just daydreamed this fantasy soap opera world that I was living in, and that's what I did. That was one of the coping mechanisms, so. Well, that would have meant I had to talk to somebody about it, and I really didn't talk to a lot of people about what I was even going through. So, if I would have, I might have had more of a support system. But I was the little lady on the island by myself. So, well, I learned a lot about myself and the fact that I should be more open as a person. Um, Being closed off never solved any issues. I don't know why I like to be that way. I like to be super, super private. I don't really like to talk about how I feel deep inside. I don't know if at some point I felt like that became irrelevant. And I don't know if it's because of the abuse that I went through or if I was just always like that. But I really think, honestly, that was just kind of who I was as a person. Because I would go and I'd play by myself as a child, and I kept myself entertained, and I was fine, you know? If I got a bobo, I'd go and I'd fix it or whatever, put a band-aid on it and take care of myself. I mean, I just did that. That's just kind of how I was. I was always really, really private, so maybe I didn't know or understand that I needed to be any different. So, that's why I said I living and learning, because I learned that I needed to be more open with people, and it helps you get to know other people when you can be more open yourself. How can we make a change in general in how we actually perceive postpartum depression? Well, I think the biggest thing is to talk about it. Start talking about it in high school. There's a lot of girls that get pregnant at a very young age, and they have no idea what the realm of possibilities are that they could be facing through having a baby that young, on their bodies and also on their mental health. They have no idea. So start talking about it in high school. If you're going to do health classes, that needs to be in health classes in high school. It needs to be talked about in college. It needs to be talked about anywhere and everywhere. We need to get that information out there so that, you know, if they start having these feelings, they start having the pressure and these weird and unhealthy urges, that they know that, hey, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that's part of it. You need to go get some help. You know, so that you can feel better. Nobody needs to go through that. I mean, you can't prevent it 100%, but you can sure help somebody that has the issues. You don't necessarily have to have medication, but you have to have the support and being able to talk about it, and we will work through it. And people need to stop thinking about people that go through it as being crazy, because it's not. They're not crazy. They absolutely are not. That stigma needs to go away. It needs to be put to bed. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's the not feeling like you're good enough, number one. Well, you should be stronger, you know. All these other people you see around you, they're stronger, they're doing it. You know, why am I not doing this? I just need to be stronger. I need to be stronger, you know. Very much like, oh, that lady right there, look at her. She's the crazy one. She's the crazy one. That kind of stuff that needs to go away. It absolutely needs to go away. We need to be able to rally around people and lift them up and not look at them weird, not look at them funny, and not don't be like that. Because like I said, it's not just that mom. It's the kids feel it too. They have to feel it. I mean, you're either gonna feel one thing or you're gonna feel the other. And if mom feels all the way 100% healthy mentally, then the kids are gonna feel more 100% healthy mentally. I mean, obviously, there's a give and a take there.
Mm-hmm.
And if mother's feeling inadequate all of the time, 100% of the time, because of the stigma that's put on it, then it's not healthy for the kids. And we need to stop doing that to each other, the human race, that's for sure.